Worcester here in about 2 weeks.
All right, we're going on, guys. That's not it. That's not it.
So this, do I need to be closer to the mic?
Yeah, it'll pick up.
How do I pull this down?
Welcome to the Wildcats X's and O's show, broadcasting live from Joy 106.3 FM in Daytona Beach, Florida. We'd like to welcome you to the Wildcats X's and O's show, coming back after the first week of football for Bethune Cookman football. Went on a trip to UTEP and played those guys hard. We'll talk about that soon. But first, let me bring my special guest in here in the studio. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. I have my special guest here. I have Ralph Smith, Mr. Jerry Bill, and the one and only Mr. C.C. Cruz, better known as Walter. How you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Good. How was your week?
Wonderful.
Mr. Bell.
Good week. I had a good week. Had some football to watch and try to pretend, analyze. It was a good week.
Good week of football. Good. That's what we like to hear. Mr. Cruz, how was it?
It was good, man. Just had an opportunity to look at a lot of football, particularly my favorite team, Bethune Cookman, and I saw a lot that I like.
A lot that he liked to see from our Wildcats. What in particular? Just give me one thing in particular.
Well, for me, I like the offense. I liked how steady the offense was. I like Shannon. I like how crisp some of his passes were. You know, and I just think we got a big year that's coming up.
A big year indeed that's coming up for us, and we'll get to some of that a little later. First, guys, let's go into our SWAC week recap. A lot of SWAC football played this weekend, not particularly against SWAC teams, but there was some SWAC football played in this first week of football. Our first matchup, Mississippi Valley State versus Murray State. Murray State came out victorious in that contest, 35-0 over the Devils there. Anybody watch that game?
I didn't watch the game. I paid attention a little bit to what was going on in the social media world with that. I just kind of peeked at it. I heard a lot of good information, a lot of hype, if you will, about Mississippi Valley in the offseason. So I was just kind of curious about how they would show up. And by the time I looked up, Murray State had already, the band had already got a lot of play by the time I caught up to what was going on social media. So I never turned it on, never looked for it. But was hoping that Mississippi Valley would put up a better show. But
Most definitely. Was hoping that's myself. We'll move right along to the next game. Miles College plays Alabama State. And did they play them? Final score in that contest was Alabama State 14, Miles 13.
But I'm not surprised by that. I'm really not. Miles has a dynamic offense. And when that kid gets to throwing the ball, he can really whistle that ball in. And also their defense is really tough. So to see them play Alabama State tough, that just wasn't surprising to me.
And were you happy to see what the output from their offense? Because we have someone from Miles here coaching our Wildcats, correct?
Correct. I tell you, man, Miles is really on the move, and I expect them to do big things this year as well.
Big things out of Miles.
Well, again, I kind of think there was a lot of hype on all these teams that played Saturday.
They do play Fort Valley State in that contest in Tallahassee. Then you have Tennessee State versus Grambling. Grambling wins that game. That game being played in Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio. HBCU Hall of Fame game. Grambling wins that contest 16-10.
Grambling, are they the most bipolar team in the SWAC? And I mean that. I mean that in this regard. One year, Grambling is lights out.
Right.
The next year, they can't seem to figure it out. They seem to, it's like they bet it all on black, I guess. Black and gold in this case, because they're either really, really good or can't figure it out. I did not expect much from Grambling, and they held their own and fought in there and came out with the win. So that was a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought Tennessee State would win that game. I had them selected to win that game, but Grambling showed that they are still the G-men and had a good contest and came out with a victory.
And Jerry, I'm with you, man. I really expected Tennessee State to win this game. Jeremy Hickbottom is the starting quarterback for Tennessee State. As we know, he was committed here. Then he decided to go to Tennessee State, and the game just really shocked me. So that's another game that I would have lost all my money on.
Yeah. Now Grambling fans, they're not very nice sometimes.
Right.
They can be pretty cold-hearted. Now they're great. A lot of hospitality.
Right.
But they expect a lot. So, one of the things that Grambling fans were upset with Hickbottom on is that he lost too many games for them.
They didn't really know what they wanted to do. And I wasn't that impressed with Grambling either. That game actually, to me, did live up to its ability as well. I was expecting more, and I got very little.
Most definitely. Same here. We'll move to our Pro First Sports Management SWAC week schedule. The first game we have coming up, Alabama State will face the Tigers of Auburn University at 12 noon, Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Auburn by 30.
Ralph's calling Auburn by 30. Auburn by 30. All right. Next up, Fort Valley State versus FAMU, as we spoke about earlier. That's a 6 p.m. kickoff in Bragg Stadium.
I'm looking for big things out of Fort Valley, man. I'm looking for big things, especially on the offensive end. Jerry, FAMU is hurting right now. And their quarterback play is, they're going to start a freshman, against a very stiff Division II defense.
Yes.
But still they're good. So I'm looking for some big things in Tallahassee.
Fort Valley looked good in their contest. And I think Ralph said it earlier. You either have a quarterback or you plan for next year.
That's right.
Pretty
And
much.
right.
I believe it was I could have the year wrong, but it was 2011, 2012, somewhere in that neighborhood. Fort Valley went to Tallahassee, and
That's right.
they should have won that game. They outplayed FAMU that game. FAMU
Right.
scored at the very, very end. I wouldn't be shocked if it's that type of game where you come down to the fourth quarter and it's a one-score game. This, FAMU, you better be on upset alert.
See, for me, I agree with Jerry, because you might have all the other pieces, but if you don't have a quarterback, what you going to do?
That's
And
right.
A&M haven't shown me that they have a quarterback. Of course, they say they have 5.
Right.
And usually if you got 5, that means you don't have any.
True freshman starting in that game for FAMU. Radovic comes out of Wekiva High School down the road from us. First start, of course, coming in as a true freshman. How do you think he does in that contest?
He was a nice football player in high school. I mean, saw him play in high school. He was a nice player. When he got in, his stats didn't look great, but the offense looked completely different with him. He threw the ball with confidence. He saw the field well, or much better than the guy he took over from. So I think FAMU fans have devalued Ryan Stanley and exactly how good he was for them.
I agree, Jerry.
The man left Tallahassee with all the records, and they just assume that you're just going to plug the next guy in because he ran a touchdown in overtime, and you're just going to plug in the next guy. It doesn't work like that.
It does not work like that at all. I went through the same thing at Florida State, after Chris Winkie left, and, who was next? And there was Chris Ricks, who was practicing with the practice squad the year before. It just does not happen, guys.
Hey, listen, they hurt Chris Ricks so much in practice, he had a handicapped parking space. I don't think that was legal, but he had one.
He had one, definitely.
That's awful.
Oh, man.
A little Gator Seminole banner right there. All right, guys. We'll move on. Grambling facing Southern Miss. 7 p.m. kickoff. That game is in Hattiesburg at home for Southern Miss.
Yeah, I got Southern Miss by 40.
Wow. Is
That's
Brett Favre coming back to play in that game?
That's the only
Don't
way.
need him.
Don't need him.
All right. You have Texas Southern playing Baylor.
Running clock. Running clock.
Does Baylor have a JV squad?
As we said earlier, there's a lot of money that's going to be exchanging hands this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of money. Correct.
As my boy Ralph said, you're not going to get the calls and get the check.
That's
Just
right.
take the check, go with the calls, and get home,
And
right?
get home.
You get one or the other.
That's
One
right.
or the other.
That's
And the
right.
one you're going to get is not the one you want.
Good matchup between the OVC conference and the SWAC, with Tennessee State playing Jackson State. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff. That game being played in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Which Tiger is going to win in that contest?
One of them wearing blue. Look, the old adage is teams make their largest gap of improvement. They close the gap of their errors, make the largest improvement from week 1 to week 2. Mm-hmm. I think we'll learn a lot about both these squads. Eddie George versus Dion them, as Jackson State is starting to be called. And so I think we'll learn a lot about both teams. To be honest, I don't have a feel for this contest. I don't know what to expect. I don't have a feel for Tennessee State or Jackson State. But we'll learn a lot about both.
We definitely will learn a lot about both in that game. That'll be a great game to watch. We'll have to pull out our phones as we sit in the bounce house and hopefully they're a little still in the bounce house, but we'll try to take that one in. Northwestern State versus Alcorn State. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff. That game is in Alcorn.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that game is in Alcorn.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Alcorn by 14.
All right, at home in the sticks. All right, Miles College versus Southern. There again, there's Miles showing up again. That game in Baton Rouge at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Any takers?
Yeah, well, Southern has that new coach now, and he's going to be desperate, to show that Southern is still Southern, no matter what. So I'm going to take Southern by 10.
Southern by 10. That's Mr. CC. I hear you, CC. Mr. ESPN. What you say to that, Rafi?
I don't know. I think it's going to be closer to that. I'm not sure how Southern came out of the game they just played with Troy, because I had expected Southern to have a much better defense. So I don't know. I'm going to say it's going to be 14-10.
14-10, final on that one. All
Okay.
right.
Okay.
We'll see. 7 p.m. by 10 p.m. our time. We'll know. And we'll come back and compare them.
Well, you got to get Jerry now. Let's see what Jerry got going on.
Jerry has the
Let's see what Jerry got going
He's
on now.
analytically worked it out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and say Southern will win that game, but there might be something to that. We've seen our guys a week after playing one of the big boys take something out of you.
Right.
And so
It does.
Southern
It definitely
playing
does.
Troy, that's an uneven matchup. And so now we got to see how much Southern still has in their legs, and that's enough. Miles is going to come in feeling good, like they had an opportunity to knock off a SWAC team.
Exactly.
I think Southern will win by 2 scores at least, but crazier things have happened.
Crazier things have happened. Indeed, they have. Prairie View versus Incarnate Word.
Yeah, I remember when Incarnate Word was an awful program, but that's not the case anymore. They've built their program up over the years. But I'm pulling for the SWAC squad. I remember a couple years ago, Prairie View went out and beat Sam Houston State. So hopefully this is another one of those kind of contests where HBCUs represent. So I'm going to show some HBCU love and say Prairie View comes out with the win here.
Prairie View with the win.
I agree with that.
You agree with Jerry? Okay.
Man, that's across the board. So do I.
There you have it. That game, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, out in Gale and Tom Benson Stadium in San Antonio, Texas. We'll move on to our SWAC football standings. SWAC football standings. In the East, at 1-0 in the SWAC is Jackson State. Number 2 is Alabama A&M. They have not played a SWAC contest as of yet, conference game. Number 3 is Alabama State. They come in at 1-0. And our Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, 0-1 after falling to, and this is 0-1 on record, not in conference as we fell to UTEP in a close game on Saturday night. Mississippi Valley State coming in at 0-1. And the Rattlers at number 6 coming in at 0-1. In the West, you have Prairie View 1-0. And they're 1-0 in the SWAC. You have Grambling State at 1-0 in schedule play. Arkansas Pine Bluff 1-0. Alcorn State 0-1. You have Southern at 0-1, and Texas Southern is at 0-1, and that is 0-1 in the conference. We'll move on to our FCS computer rankings for the SWAC. At number 25. And this is power rankings for our fans out in our listening area. Alabama A&M at number 25. Southern University comes in at number 62. Prairie View at 68. FAMU at 72. Jackson State at 73. Arkansas Pine Bluff at 74. Alabama State at 77. Bethune-Cookman comes in at 79. We were previously number 66. Alcorn State comes in at 83. They were previously 77. Grambling comes in at 91. They moved up some. They were previously 112. Texas Southern comes in at 127. They were previously 125. And Mississippi Valley State comes in at 128. They were previously 127. There you have it.
I have a question now.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, just a question.
I know the question.
we know the question, right?
Okay. I thought it was 126 teams in the FCS. I thought. I could be wrong. There could have been some.
Maybe we added some because
they're saying that Texas Southern and Mississippi Valley don't even deserve to be considered with the FCS if that's the case.
And if you look at the computer rankings, that is exactly where they were listed. Now, if you were to extrapolate, which we did for all the SWAC teams, there are other teams that are listed in there. When we were in of course, MEAC, we were also listed in the MEAC conference in these computer rankings. So, hopefully they added 2 more teams. Hopefully.
Oh, listen.
Who knows?
Hey, well, Mississippi Valley play FAM this week. So
it's true. We'll see at that point in time.
They'll get their chance to prove it.
We'll definitely see at that point in time. We'll move right along to our UTEP versus our Bethune-Cookman Wildcat recap. That game played last Saturday night in the Sun Bowl out in beautiful El Paso, Texas. We were able to make it out there. Barely make it in there on Saturday night to watch that contest play. And when I say barely make it, American Airlines, you got to do better. You got to do better, American Airlines. I got a voice on the radio, so we're going to call you out. You might have another opportunity, but Saturday just wasn't it. So, Ralph, we were there at that contest.
You know, even though we lost 38-28, I was extremely happy with the results. And you might ask, so why was you extremely happy? I saw two things. I thought we was very, very well prepared for that game. I think once we got past our jitters in the first quarter, I think we played some really good ball. The other thing that I noticed is that team is starting to take the personality of Coach Sims.
They are.
Because they
definitely
never panicked in that game. And even when one made a mistake, they were all gathering around and patting them on the back and showing support. So that's what I was happy about. I think that, you know, we haven't played in 2 years, and the way they came out and performed last Saturday, I was very impressed.
Definitely very impressed with the way our guys played. I mean, you would not, as we were speaking earlier when we were out at practice, you would not know these guys have not played in almost 600 days. I mean, the way they came out, and the UTEP fans and players were surprised. We ran into a couple of them as we stayed at the UTEP hotel. So, I mean, the words around were, we didn't know you guys were that big. We didn't know you guys are that fast in that contest. Jerry, just a little recap of what you saw from Saturday's game.
Yeah, I like you guys. I'll say this much. You know, not only did our guys perform well, our guys performed well playing their first game when UTEP had a game under their belt. And so, you know, I would love to have had our schedule flip and play UCF last week and UTEP this week with them and see how everything end up. But I think, you know, to Ralph's point, I love the way we matched up from a speed point. We were not overwhelmed by their speed. In fact, we matched them. They were not a step faster than us. We were just as fast, if not faster. I like the way we matched up from a standpoint from athleticism.
Definitely.
We were as athletic as they were. We were as big as they were. Yes. Now, where I saw the difference is in the area of weight training and nutrition.
Right.
And I'm saying that when you look at the body types of their players and our players may have been the same size,
right,
but all of their players had the same body type. And so you know that comes from weight training and nutrition. And I remember when I was at Clemson, maybe when you were at Florida State, I remember they give the athletes a brown paper bag and say, eat this. And you take a guy who come in at 6'1" and 180 pounds, and before the summer's over, that guy's 6'1", 200, all lean muscle. And then everybody who plays defensive end, linebacker, and safety had the same body type.
Definitely.
Well, that's what UTEP had. We didn't. And so, but what I'm saying is this: our guys matched up speed, athleticism, effort, performance. You know, I think if we could have maybe evened it out from a little bit of that in the weight room,
definitely,
maybe a different result.
Definitely, and you know, we have all said, I loved how our guys played. We could have made some adjustments in some of the things, but I love how our guys played, with UTEP having played a game the week before in a blowout style against New Mexico State. But nobody would have imagined that our Wildcats would come out and play these guys so tough, even deep into the fourth quarter, where they could not let their foot off the gas. They could not let their foot off the gas. And if it wasn't for some phantom calls that were made, I don't want to blame it on that, but you
can't get both. I go get the check and the call. Can't get both. But more interesting, what people don't realize, we scored twice in the last 5 minutes of that game.
We did,
and it wasn't a prevent defense we scored against. No. And they still had their first stringers in that game. There was 5 minutes left, and we scored twice.
They did, through and through.
But I'll tell you something, man. Quayshawn Bird, I thought played a great game. I really did. And Thompson came in, and he did as well. I mean, so I really think our running game would definitely be solidified. It's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe with these guys, man, and we're going to be good.
That takes us right into our anything else from Saturday's game that you would like to see us improve on. One point. Tight end play, great. And we'll cover that here in a second where we do our position grades. But is there anything that stood out to you that, you know.
For me, it was special teams. Now, Bethune ordinarily is really good at special teams. I kind of think we was kind of miscombobulated there a couple of times. I don't see why we run the ball out of the end zone, 5 yards in the end zone, and make it to the 10 when we actually could get the ball on the 25.
Right, and bring it out.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of the special kicks. We got penalized because we were lined up improperly.
Definitely so.
That's special teams.
Definitely so in that contest. Let's move on to our position grading. All right, guys. So, quarterback play on Saturday's game.
My opinion of Shannon, if you let him give him some time, he'll pick you apart.
Yeah. We got a quarterback.
We got a quarterback.
Pass on the quarterbacks. Passing grade. Thumbs up.
I give him an A.
Okay.
Yeah.
An A on the quarterback. Is
Every-
that unanimous across the board?
Everybody knows that I'm a Shannon the Cannon fan. If you give him time, he is going to really exploit your defense.
That's right.
He will definitely do that.
Yeah.
He will definitely do that. Coming from Arkansas Pine Bluff, so it's not new to him.
Not new.
All right, we'll move right on. Running back position.
I give ourselves an A.
I
Jerry?
say passing grade at running back.
Passing.
Hey,
CC?
I'm with Al. Hey.
All right,
All right.
so all thumbs up across the board, so passing grade. All right, we'll move right along to our wide receivers / tight ends.
Again, I'm giving passing grades.
Yeah, passing grade for the pass catchers.
Got to roll out with the guys. Hey.
Thumbs up for our pass catchers.
CC's a little bit. He's saying A. I'm saying passing. Listen,
Jerry got his red pencil.
yeah.
I understand.
But you just gotta, the tight end that we got, man, is special.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
And anybody has a 6'6" tight end that's 260 pounds that runs like a deer and can catch anything. I mean, you gotta throw him a bone a little bit, Jared. Just the one bone.
Oh, I give him an A. His last name's spelled with an A. He came out an A. But across the board, I'm just saying, right now, because you want it's the first game. You want to see improvement.
Exactly.
You want to see development. Are you asking me, am I happy? Well, I'm very pleased.
Right.
So I give him a passing grade.
Definitely a passing grade. Well, offensive line play.
Okay, but not where we're going to have to be.
A push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw them across the board.
Yeah, I give him a push. Going back and even watching the game a couple times, I thought they actually did a very good job of pass blocking. But
Right.
it's been that way for the last several years.
Right.
Yes.
They're good at pass blocking. Run blocking was okay. It could have been a whole. It wasn't as bad as I thought when I went and looked at the game.
Again, right.
But there are times when I'm used to Bethune Cookman being a physical team. When we
Exactly,
need to
right.
get 2 yards,
Exactly.
we get 2
We
yards.
get 2 yards.
But in this game, we needed 2 yards and we got 1.5. And so, I give them a push. We're going to have to be better in the run game. But, again, when we start playing against guys at our level, it'll be a more fair assessment.
Definitely.
But for right now, push.
And what I saw in the contest, and I talked to Ralph about it with our O-line,
Totally
we were
agree.
blocking well on runs at the first level.
At the first level.
But you're taught as offensive linemen, and not saying that Coach Prince didn't teach them to get upfield, but we got to get up to the second level.
Yeah.
As we saw with the UTEP running backs, they were waiting for their linemen get to the
Right.
second level,
Right.
and it gave them an extra 5 yards when that happened. So
Right.
our linemen have to climb and get to that second level because you got linebackers sitting back.
But let me say this, though. But we got to take into consideration. We lost our all-conference center
True.
who set everything up. We lost another kid on that O-line. And I think we got 3 new kids on that offensive line. So I think you got to give them a little time. They're going to be okay. But I do agree with Jerry. We got some work to do.
Right. And, the other thing is we only had 46 offensive snaps.
Yeah, 46
That's
offensive.
not a lot in today's game.
No.
So,
No.
and you saw them, again, in the second half, they started getting the groove. And so we'll see. You know, the more snaps, the better they should, especially as an offensive line. That unit has to move together. So we'll see if they improve over time. We certainly know they have room for growth.
Definitely room for growth there. We'll move on to our defensive line play against the Miners.
Well, you know what? They say you can't teach size and you can't teach speed. And I think we might be a little small on the offensive line. We quick.
D-line.
D-line, we're quick, but we're small.
Definitely.
And I think as we go along, we still aren't going to get any bigger, so we're going to have to do something with what we have. We might have to put them in different situations because we are small.
We're definitely small there. And you're playing against, week after week, you're going to be playing against some good-sized linemen week after week. So we'll have to work on that. It's hard to bulk up during the season, so we'll have to come up with some special things, twists, and things of that nature to make that work for us. But I believe our coaching staff will get us there. Coach Yogi will get us there along with Coach.
But the only saving grace on that, the SWAC is a pass happy.
Right.
A pass happy conference. So
There you go. Right.
they're not like the MEAC on a ground and pound. They pass happy. So that when we get in conference, that might not be a big issue for us.
Right. And let me ask you this in that regard. Do you think so? We've seen Coach Yogi Jones. I think is under the instruction of Terry Sims that he doesn't blitz a lot. He used to blitz a lot, but Coach Sims has said, you know, we're bend don't break defense. We hold in the red zone, and so you see them reading and reacting a lot more. You don't see a lot of twists, a lot of games. You don't see a lot of stunting up front on the defensive line. Do you guys think that out of necessity we'll go to that this year, or do you think these guys will hold up and improve?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jerry. Last week, they blitzed more than I've seen them
They
blitz
sure
in
did.
a long time.
Outside of the Florida Classic.
Right. Now, they might not have got there, but they did more blitzing than they ever did. And I think that's what's going to have to happen in the SWAC. They're going to have to blitz. With the defensive line that we have, obviously we're going to be very, very active. Mm-hmm. And so with Reeves coming off that end over there, which he's a very dynamic player. You know, I think we're going to really hold our own, man. You know, in the SWAC.
I agree.
Push.
Push.
I agree with that as well.
Gotta go to the commercial at 8:40, right at it. So
That was a heartbreak.
yeah.
You know, I still can't believe that none of our guys was mentioned in the SWAC.
I can't.
It kind of blew me off.
So because they're not realistic.
Right.
I mean, just think about the opposite. Not only were none of our guys mentioned, Southern had 4
That's right.
offensive linemen mentioned first team.
Yeah.
That's right.
You got one team. You got
Right.
4. Your whole offensive line
Right.
is first team.
That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's. But even to the whole point, it's like, you know, like I was talking to a group of them SWAC people on one of their radio shows. Somebody said, one of the hosts, how y'all sneak up on FAMU these last several years? I said,
Sneak up on them. They knew we were coming.
I said, man, we better than them. I said, I'm not being there. We're better than them, and they know we're better than them.
Right.
But y'all get lost in all of the hype. So all y'all been talking about FAMU,
Right.
how we sneak up. First of all, we better than them. Secondly, y'all talking about the wrong Florida team.
Right.
The team y'all need to be worried about.
Right.
See, they talking about the Florida AM back in the 60s.
Right.
They all
50s.
stuck in those days.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jackson State is stuck in the same thing.
Southern stuff in Southern.
Of course. Yeah. I think it was a push. I think they're going to get better. I mean, these are new guys too. We only had one regular. The kids are new to our program. I'm not really worried about them in the long run.
Well, I didn't feel okay. I didn't feel okay at all. There were a lot of missed assignments. That's why you saw that running back continue to power through.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with you that as time go on, there should be a lot of improvement there. But we got to have a lot of improvement coming up in less than about 2 days.
Pretty much.
We'll get to that part.
I don't want to think about
I think
that.
we almost got to hear Jerry
Yeah,
out.
I don't want to think about that. I want to look back. Yeah. So it was hard for me to really assess the linebacker play because they had guys in their lap the whole night, and so is that missed assignments? Possibly, but a lot of times you tell offensive line we're at that second level,
Right.
and so
Exactly.
I thought some of that was the defensive line in front of them weren't eating up.
Right.
They weren't eating up blocks. They weren't penetrating to prevent those offensive linemen from getting to the second level. So it was hard to assess, where the responsibility lie. But based on the results, I would be stretching to give them a push.
Yeah.
And so, but that doesn't mean that, by scheme, that it was really their fault. It could be something else where the offense, again, you're not getting penetration on the D-line. That's going to happen.
Definitely have some work to do there, and we'll see this week. Hard to say. The real test will be.
See, I don't think you're going to be able to evaluate them next
Nothing.
week.
No.
I think that you almost got to wait till next Thursday. Really,
That's right.
When I disagree with that.
What?
I think you'll be able to evaluate these kids at least the first quarter.
Okay.
I think you'll be able to see a lot in the first quarter. Now, Jerry, I didn't say nothing about the second or the third, but I said the first quarter. I think you'll see a lot.
I think it'll be reversed around.
Okay.
The reason I say reversed around because you'll get more of your matchups, even matchups later on in the game. So
Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully.
So, question for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Any of y'all study the words of the UCF fight song?
Of course not.
All right. It might be a good idea because you might find yourself humming it in your head this weekend. And I love my Wildcats.
And take your Dramamine.
With that being said, I think it'll be hard to, I agree with Ralph. I think it's going to be hard to really get an assessment of our guys and our units as a whole. I think what we're all hoping is that you see someone pop.
Right.
You want to see someone play so well that they pop.
Right.
But, judging the unit, it's going to be difficult. UCF's that's a whole,
it's a whole different
mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Definitely. How about our defensive back play?
See, for me, if you're playing a cover 2 and you're playing such that you don't want anybody to get behind you, so you're letting everything in front of you.
Right.
Because I said this to you at the game. I thought, man, do you realize when a receiver catches the ball, there's no one within 5 to 10 yards of that individual. So I don't think we're going to be able to get away with that at UCF.
Definitely.
Yeah. Again,
How do we do it against UTEP? But
is
Go
that
ahead.
schematic? I don't know. I literally don't know. Some of that looks like scheme. It just looks like, again, Coach Sims keeps telling us we're bend but don't break.
Right.
That's
And
true.
so some of it is let them have that. Let's try to clamp down in the red zone. Unfortunately, they were 6 for 6 in the red zone, 5 of those being touchdowns.
right, definitely.
But I'm not certain that that's not against Coach Sims' scheme, at least against that team. Thinking that we just don't want to give up. We want to make
Right.
them earn it.
Right.
We want to make them have to drive on us. And in the first half, it turned out pretty well.
It worked for us.
And
Yes.
I'll say this: I didn't see. I think we gave up that long pass up the seam.
Yes.
It was a great pass,
Yes.
great catch.
Right.
Other than that, I didn't see a lot of
There was not a lot
over
of
the top.
No.
But we gave them cushion up underneath.
There was a lot of arrows and things of that nature. Go down, sit down at the marker, and I'll throw it to you right there in that spot. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. So, pass, fail, push.
I'm gonna give him a push.
Yeah. I don't have enough information. I don't know if that's scheme or if that's
Gotcha.
execution.
Push. All right, guys, there we have it. Let's go special teams, and we'll include special teams as a whole. Ralph?
I was impressed with the kickers. Okay, I just didn't think, my opinion, sitting there watching the game,
Yes.
that we were all in on what we wanted to do. I mean, like I said to you at the game, if I'm going to run a special play, that one of the most important things is everybody got to be lined up properly. And if I don't see them lining up properly, then I'm calling time, because bringing that time out back to Daytona ain't going to help us. And that happened twice on us when we did the little pooch kick.
Yes.
We got penalties on.
Behind FAMU's All-American
Yeah.
punter. I think FAMU, I think he was like 45, and our punter was like 43. I
Right.
think something
That's
in
right.
that area, man. And I'm telling you, he's going to be special.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I think a passing to the kicking game, to the kicking specialist, I'm going to say a fail to the return specialist, just because we had quite a few issues punting the ball. Fielding punts.
Fielding punts.
Fielding punts. We never really kind of got comfortable there. Fielding punts.
Right. It never
to-
did.
Ralph
Never.
mentioned earlier there are a couple questionable situations where we brought the ball out of the end zone, and there's a certain part of me. A guy like Keyshawn Bird. You want to go and try to make a play. I'm never going to discourage that, but based on the results, I have to say that the return game was that was a fail.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I would
so.
totally agree with that.
Definitely so. It definitely was. Well, there you have it. Position breakdowns. We will be back next week with more position breakdowns from the UCF game. Guys, that will take us to our UCF scouting report. Our Wildcats go into the Bounce House, Spectrum Stadium, on Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. at kickoff with our Wildcats and the Knights of University of Central Florida. Guys, the scouting report on UCF. They play a tough Boise State team. Boise State comes out on them tough. Last Thursday night after the show, we tuned into it, and that game, to everyone, it's basically over. They went on a weather delay, come back out from the weather delay playing. We're thinking, man, is this like a tape delay game or whatever? But no, they're actually playing. I think that game finished about 1:30 in the morning on Friday morning. But the Knights prevail. Coach Malzahn's first game as a Knight there, and came back and won that game 36-31.
Look, guys, I'm just going to tell you, Jerry and Ralph, this Dylan Gabriel, he is the real deal.
Yes, sir.
I think he's a top 5 quarterback.
Wow.
This kid passed for 318 yards, man, and you talking on a night that I thought he was off.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now this is a night I thought he was off, but he passed for 318 yards. The kid also can run. He's very quick. He did a lot of stuff running up the center. And that's what kind of gets me a little shaky, when we talk about our linebacker play, because he's very sneaky and he can get around the end and he can get up the middle. But then again, their running game, they ran 255 yards on Boise State. Okay, there again, we're going to have to be strong when it comes to defending, their running game. But let's go back and talk about our DBs. They got a guy named Robinson, Jay Robinson, that he caught 140 yards, passing for one touchdown. This kid is the real deal. We got our hands full, Saturday night. I'm telling you, that bounce house going to really be rolling, Jerry.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. And, I'll put on my maroon and gold glasses for a minute and try to look for something in it. So first of all, we know this. UCF is an excellent program.
Definitely.
Right.
They are fast.
Right.
And I'll say not just fast for a group of 5 team, they're amongst one of the fastest teams in all of college football, period.
Right.
They go fast, but they are a fast team on the field. And that should help our team speed.
Right.
But I'm just hoping that maybe, Gus Malzahn, his Auburn teams, they struggled a couple of years with Jacksonville State and some other FCS squads.
Right.
They have.
I would be pleased.
Did.
I think Jacksonville State took them to overtime.
They did.
One
They
year,
did.
maybe 2 years.
Yeah,
It seemed
they
like.
did.
But so maybe some of that is stored up. Maybe we'll go out and our guys show up and punch above their weight and we have a competitive match. I would love to see that. So I'm hoping for that. We're here at Joy 106.3 in the gospel, Daytona's favorite gospel station. I'm going to take a break and go in the back and start praying and get some of this anointing oil and speak it over our
See
Wildcats.
what comes out of it. See what comes out of it. Guys, on the weekend against Boise State, that Thursday night game, as I said, the final score 36-31. UCF in that contest had 13 first downs. 29 first downs. 29. 13 rushing, 14 passing.
Balance.
2 on penalties. Yardage on the ground. They gained 255 yards on the ground.
Right.
Passing. Gabriel went 25-37. 2 interceptions, 4 touchdowns for 318 yards for a total yardage of about over 500 something yards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's an off game for him.
Right, that's off game. Come from behind game for him in that contest. They ran a total of 85 plays.
Right.
In that contest. So
85.
85 plays compared to
And how many did
Boise's.
we run last week?
47, 46. I can pull that. 47 plays. We ran 47.
Time of
Hey,
possession.
I'm just saying.
They go quick.
Time of possession for UCF, 34 minutes, 46 seconds in time of possession in that contest. So. In red zone, they went 3 for 4.
So the most important thing for the Wildcats is we come out of that game healthy.
That's right.
That's right.
That's definitely
But that's the key there.
Right.
We're trying to get ourselves together, but not trying to get hurt.
That's right.
Right.
That's how we got to come out of that game.
Right.
definitely.
Great.
Well, there we have it, the UCF scouting report. We'll move along to our Alpha 1 staffing, BCU versus UCF game plan. Alpha 1 staffing, let's get to work. The good folks there at Alpha 1 staffing, hiring throughout America. Currently, they're seeking one candidate for someone in accounting and receiving and things of that nature here in Volusia County. So if you're interested in a position, please go to alpha1staffing.com. We'd like to thank Alpha 1 Staffing for their continued support of the Hail Wildcats X's and O's show. Guys, as we've been talking, our Wildcats go into UCF on Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. in Spectrum Stadium, better known as the Bounce House. If you don't know what the Bounce House is, as I said, take your Dramamine because you will feel it once you arrive there. There's just no doubt about it. Our Wildcats go in there 0-1 against the 1-0 UCF team. If they win this game, it's UCF's or Gus Malzahn's 79th win overall as a head coach. UCF leads the series 12-5. With that being said, and we've kind of discussed it already, what do the Wildcats have to do to come out of the Bounce House with the win? What's the game plan?
Yeah, I think the game plan is going to be much like it was last week. I think they'll try to keep UCF in front of them on defense. So I think a lot of that shell coverage that we saw defensively, I think we'll see a lot more of that. Just try to keep them in front of you. See if you can, when they get down inside the 30, not even inside the 20, but inside the 30, see if you can keep them to field goal attempts instead of touchdowns. I think that is the realistic, at least in my mind, pragmatic approach to the game of a team like UCF. When you snap the ball 85 times, was it?
Mm-hmm.
You snap the ball 85 times, you're still dealing with 18 to 24-year-old kids who are thinking about if their girlfriend is watching them or hanging out with the Q dogs, and so they're still young men, and so you can only, you put them in conflict that many times, something's gonna pop. So I think, realistically, you go in that game, you try to keep everything in front of you, try to keep them to field goals. When you have the ball, you want to make sure that you go out and do the things that give you an advantage, like we saw last week. Get the ball to 1, get the ball to 2, get the ball to 5, and see what happens. Because 1, 2, and 5 can match up and play with anybody in the country, period.
Game changers. Definitely game changers. Each one of those guys.
I absolutely don't have anything else to add to that because Jerry just said it all.
Preach the gospel.
Yes. Go ahead and preach that sermon.
And the only thing I can say to that is amen.
I'm not comfortable with this. Somebody say something. Come back the other way and say, tell me.
Definitely, we have to get a running game going against UCF. They suffered in the running game against Boise State the other night. If we can establish a running game, as I said, our offensive linemen getting to the next level, blocking to the point of attack, staying on their man, we seal off things. As Jerry said, those running backs can go. And we can go the distance. Tight end has to factor in big time this week.
Yeah, because if we establish a running game, which is going to open up the passing game, and 1 and 2 should just have a hell of a night.
Definitely, they definitely.
If you're throwing the ball, you're not going to stop 1 and 2.
No.
You're not.
They're going to get theirs.
They're going to get.
I mean,
theirs.
they come to Cookman from D1.
Yeah, they're going to get theirs.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They come to Cookman from D1, so
Right.
they know what they're going into when they go into UCF.
So we talk about 1. When he was at Louisville, he caught 2 touchdown passes against Alabama. You scored twice against Alabama.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything else you're playing down.
Right.
Definitely.
Pretty much.
Definitely so. Definitely so. What kind of game will Shannon Patrick have? I know we're saying 1 and 2, you got to get the ball to him. Shannon comes in against a stingy, we'll call it, UCF defense.
They are stingy, and there's a defensive end on that left side that comes in with a lot of thunder, So I think they're going to keep this very vanilla. I really do. It's no need in draining out our tight end. We need to save him, for the next game. I said so. I think you'll see a lot of Quayshawn Bird and a lot of Thompson, and we're just gonna keep it vanilla this game.
Definitely keeping it vanilla. We have a short week,
Right?
And
Exactly.
I know you cannot look ahead to the next game, but you also have to be considered. That's your conference play.
Right.
You're going to SWAC play. Your first time being in the SWAC. Not the first time playing a SWAC team, but the first time being in the SWAC actually to where wins mean really something.
Well, Daryl, it's just common sense. We got a big game coming up, Thursday.
Right. Right.
Against,
Short
you're right, against Alabama and A&M. And this is going to be crucial, I think, for both teams. So that's why I said let's just keep it vanilla. We want to win. We're Wildcats all the way anyway. We want to win every game. But I think there's sometimes, man, when you have these short weeks that you just kind of
And for the listening audience, when we say short week, it really means a short week.
Yes, it is.
College football is a different animal than high school football,
Right.
Little League football.
Right.
So we play on Saturday night. That game will probably be in around 10 o'clock on Saturday night.
Right.
Get back here to Daytona. We always practice on Sunday night anyway. So come back. Sunday night will be a little more probably amped up practice than
Right.
usual.
Right.
We'll go and practice on Monday, which we typically don't practice on Monday. And that'll probably be a hitting practice, depending on how physical the game was on
Right.
Saturday night.
Right.
Tuesday night, you come back and do the same thing, and then Wednesday is your walkthrough.
Your
It's
walkthrough.
basically
Right.
fine tune it, and then you kick off at 7:30 on ESPN
Yeah.
on Thursday night. So,
Yeah.
I think if there is it sounds almost, it sounds paradoxical because A&M may be the best team, and certainly right now they're ranked as the best team in HBCU
Right.
football.
Right.
So, but it might be good that you're playing a team like A&M
Early.
early
Right.
and on a
Right.
short week for
Right.
two reasons. Number one, your guys are going to be tuned in.
Right.
Dialed in.
Yes.
They're not going to sleep. They're going to want their first SWAC matchup against a team that everybody else says is going to beat you.
Right.
Our guys will be ready for that. The second thing, and this is no offense to A&M, but you watch them play, they're not a very physical team.
No.
They like to get out and run. And so some of that energy drain that you get from playing against a team like playing up against a team like UCF, and sometimes you wonder, are you going to respond physically? Our guys
Right.
can run. We'll run with anybody.
Right.
And so I don't think, A&T, they don't play a physical style defense. They like to blitz a lot. I say A&M. This A&M is Alabama A&M,
A&M.
Right.
not the other guys.
Huntsville, Alabama.
That's right.
There you go.
Not those other guys.
You're right.
But they blitz a lot on defense, but they're not very physical. They're undersized even.
Definitely.
Offensively, they're not a power running team. They like to throw the ball around. So I do think in that regard, that kind of helps us a little bit offset some of the demand of the
And
short week.
they've lost some guys. A lot. That transfer portal got a lot of their guys, and they went to other places. That's not to take anything away from them, but it exists.
You're-
It exists.
In fact, their best defensive player went to Florida State.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I was just finna
Smart
say
guy.
that. Went to your place, But with that, what Jerry was saying, and I think with our defensive line, that's where we're gonna really shine. And I think that defensive line is gonna really show you something that game. But I know we're looking forward. I know we got a game against UCF coming up, but just something to think about.
Yeah, but we don't get a chance to get in here and talk about that game before next Thursday either. So it's a
We're gonna try to get in here on Wednesday, but it's up in the air right now.
up in the air,
It's
yeah.
up in the air now. So we're preempting. We're
Okay.
preempting
Okay.
the fans. So look for us on Wednesday night. Next Wednesday night. Probably about an 8:30 show.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, that's our game plan against UCF.
stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
stay healthy.
That's,
Stay healthy.
that's the word
That's
of the
across the
weekend.
board.
Stay
Stay
healthy.
healthy.
And are
Definitely
the
stay
banks
healthy.
open on Sunday, or you have to wait till Monday for that?
We'll wait till Monday to deposit.
Okay.
Tell them to give us half in cash.
Yeah. Like your favorite DJ.
Yeah.
Maybe half now and half when the job is done.
Definitely.
Oh boy!
And I heard the Pride will be over in Orlando this
That'd be
weekend.
great.
So
that's
come out
good.
6:30, Bounce House, Spectrum Stadium over on the campus of the University of Central Florida. Guys, that takes us to our Hill Wildcats live call segment. We'll take calls here on the X's and O's show at 386-868-0635. That's 386-868-0635. Here on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Talk to the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Arm Chair QBs. We know very little about football, but we'll talk to you about it.
So while we're waiting on callers to come in, Daryl and Ralph, just tell us a little bit about El Paso. I mean, just the beauty and, how was it from a scenery? How was it from a hospitality standpoint? How were you guys received out there?
Great hospitality from my point of view, and I'm sure Ralph echoes that. Once we got there, of course, we were turning to get into the stadium, but let us right up in front of the stadium, park in there. Beautiful stadium. Not my first time at the Sun Bowl, but built inside of a mountain. I say it's probably... That stadium seats about 51,500. There was probably about 30,000 people there. And very friendly people. Very friendly people.
Extremely.
Yeah, we sat right behind the Cookman bench. They usually put the fans back up near the top of the mountain in section 26, but we were able to come down and no hassle at all. Took some of their cuisine in during the game, and just great fanfare. Even heard some of the Pride songs being played from the minor band.
They actually
really?
Nick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Of course, the Teal said it was the high school version, but they were trying to play it.
So yeah, it was a great experience from my point of view.
And to add on to what Daryl just said, the thing that I found with those fans, they were sort of like 360 degrees different than when we went to Southwest Louisiana.
Yes.
These fans seem to be a little bit more sophisticated, and they kind of knew what was going on. Whereas in Southwest Louisiana, there was more, we're going to throw stuff at you. Because I can remember at Southwest Louisiana, the fans were throwing things down on our team.
Definitely, yeah. There was,
They were
there was.
But these people were
stuff.
These people were very, very pleasant, easy to talk to, wanted to talk to you.
Right.
Thought that we had a very good football team, and they were surprised.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the trip.
So Ralph, my wife keep calling me fat, and she right, because what I remember about Southeast Louisiana was that dirty rice that man was selling at the game, inside the game.
Yeah.
And so if somebody was throwing something, I missed it because I had a fork in my mouth.
I remember the
It was great. We traveled there. That was during the hurricane time here back this way.
Yeah.
So great travel. This was a great trip. Even the next morning, the hotel, we actually stayed at the hotel right there on campus, where UTEP's football team stays the day before a home game, and just even still the camaraderie between the fans as they came through the hotel and things of that nature. So it was a great trip. We don't really want to see the DFW airport for a long time there, but yeah, beyond that, it was a great trip. Great for the Wildcat fans, Hail Wildcats fan trips. Let's go Wildcats to be back on the road again and come back together. We missed two of our I will say 3 to 4 of our dear fans. Definitely Susie was very much missed on that trip, along with Norma Bland and Thomas Frazier. And then we definitely missed Miss Emma and Miss Ruthie Williams. And they did say they will be on the trip with us this weekend. So getting back to Wildcat football. So, but it was a great trip. Great trip overall.
That's good to hear. And let me ask you guys this. I know, are we still, got a
Yeah.
caller yet, or are we waiting?
No.
Still waiting? Okay, so we talked about 1, we talked about 2, we talked about 5 being playmakers on offense and how those guys pop. You guys see anyone on defense that that really kind of jumped out? You think this guy might be a game changer? Because to be honest with you, I saw some solid play for some guys. I'm waiting on the guy to pop. I know you guys get a chance to look at practice. So who have you seen either already make a lot of splash plays or show the potential to? Is there anybody that jump out at you? Sorry to put you on the spot.
You know, the one kid that we didn't hear about at all, and I expected to hear a lot. What was the kid named 28?
Henry
Miller.
I was just about to say his name.
He
Yeah.
played pretty well.
See, I didn't hear that much from him.
Yeah, because they stayed away from him.
Oh,
Because I was thinking the same. I mean, I was thinking, they really stayed away from him. And a lot of their passes, you pay attention, in the second half, they didn't even look at his side of the field. They threw over his way in the first half, but in the second half, they found.
They went at 13.
I was trying to figure out if I should call his name.
but you know what, guys? He actually played a pretty good game.
He did. When it was time to come up and tackle,
I was going to say
he played a great game. Yeah.
But I tell you,
great open field tackles.
Yeah, for me, the one that makes it pop back there is the kid from Toledo, Sanderlands. I think that's
Caleb Sutherland.
Yeah, Sutherland.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this kid is
26. He had the strip sack.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I think he's phenomenal, and I think they're putting him and Dion's son, Sanders, and I forget the other guy from Southern. They're putting them all, linking them all together. As some of the best DBs, in the conference.
But I really don't think we've seen our best DBs because one kid freshman is hurt. from Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Is that
Yeah.
Franklin or
What's that kid's
what's
name?
this, is that the kid? Is
His
two of
name
them
Cameron?
come from the
From Rickards.
from Rickards,
High
right?
School,
Two of them
yeah.
come from Rickards. Okay.
Those
Okay.
kids going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Now, one of them hurt. I'm not quite sure what's wrong with the other.
I think one of them is number 34.
Yeah,
I saw
33
he got
and
in.
34.
Okay.
33, okay.
Yeah. So 34 got in and played a little bit, and I think he did well.
So I think the other kid was out with an ankle injury.
We'd like to hear from you on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Call in. Let's talk Wildcat football. 386-868-0635. 386-868-0635. We're here talking Wildcat football. It's just overall, I mean, our team played, I won't say lights out, but we played well enough to win that contest on Saturday night.
We did.
That's right. I mean, you think about 10 points, right? One touchdown in the opposite direction, that's a 14-point swing.
Definitely.
You see that a couple times. I think you guys heard from their fans in the stands when the game was a one-possession game.
Yes, yes.
And I still been looking for that roughing the passer. It's been 6 days and I still haven't seen it. And so, but we get the ball back in midfield there. Who knows what happened? We get a drive going, or they get a drive going. We got them 4th and 1. The spot favorable. They can keep that. They score a touchdown. We go the other way. We're driving. We have a nice drive at midfield, and Shannon got flushed out of the pocket, or maybe stepped out of the pocket a little bit. So for the first time all night, I think he rushed himself out of the pocket, but he limited the field.
Definitely.
And he didn't. He had a guy open on the opposite side, but it wound up throwing an interception. So any one of those plays go the opposite direction. Maybe that's the 14-point swing. We score 7 instead of give up 7, and who knows how this game ends.
Definitely.
But the one play when they scored the 3 points, when Marcus
The muff punt.
really wasn't a
muff punt, right?
It really wasn't, because the ball actually is 2 things happened on that play. The kid was too close to Marcus, did not give him enough room to catch the ball, and secondly, the ball actually hit his helmet.
The face mask, right?
Yeah, the face mask. So even the announcers was saying, "Oh wow, that's not right." But they actually scored on that play.
Right.
They actually got a field goal off of that. So.
Caller, you're on the Hell Wildcats X's and O's show. How are you this afternoon or evening? Caller? Oh, we'll move on to the next caller. But yeah, definitely that was definitely there's a lot of things that could have bounced a different way and could have been a whole different game. Could have been a whole different game. Caller, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Welcome. Hello, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Having a little technical difficulties there with our caller. 386-868-0635. That's 386-868-0635. And we'll try to get our callers on there so that we can talk to you about Wildcat football.
Yeah, I got faith in you, caller. I think you were trying to hide from your kids or your wife or your dog or somebody, and you picked the wrong closet. But come on out, call again. We want to hear from you. We talked about grades earlier. I feel like Larry Wesley right now is like you let us grade the officials. I think we might have a unanimous. Where's Larry Wesley when you need him?
Yeah. As Ralph said, you can't get both, but come on, man. I mean, we not asking for you to change the game. They still have to play the game, right?
Right.
I mean, you don't give them that, and they're going to punt the ball away, and we still have to drive the ball down the field to win.
Right.
And
You either get the check or you get the call. You aren't going to get both.
My personal opinion, we were targeted during that game due to the fact that their head coach was not happy with not receiving the roster prior to that contest. So we were gonna have problems regardless.
And he made that known too.
Very much known.
At his press conference. But I was just thinking, guys. I mean, while we're waiting on a caller to call in, when was the last time we had a all-conference punter?
That's a great question.
Now, when I was in school, okay.
Good evening, caller. You're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Caller, if you could turn your radio down, and we could definitely hear you on the radio. You're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. We'll try to get things worked out on there. 386-868-0635. 386-868-0635. You're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. We'll call in just in one moment. We got another caller. Caller, you're on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I guess we're having a little technical difficulties with our phone system. But, guys, it's going to be a great season. It's going to be a great season. It's already lining up. If our guys continue to play like they played at UTEP, which was lights out to our opinion, there's a lot to look for in Wildcat football. A lot to look for in Wildcat football. So, and I know the guys are kind of going to ride me a little bit because I'm pretty critical on what I see from my coaching perspective. But, and this is almost the first time with them hearing this, but the way we played on Saturday night was, no one saw that coming, including UTEP.
Who is this talking, Al? Where's Al at?
Wait.
Where's Al?
Hold on. No one saw this coming. I think I called into the show last week and said I fully expect Bethune Cookman to cover the spread, which is 19 and a half points.
Yes, you did.
We kept it within the spread, which means it was going to be a reasonable game. It was going to be under 3 scores, wind up being a 10-point game, and as we mentioned, any one of those 7-point swings in the opposite direction, and you don't know. So, yeah, I was expecting them to go out and play well. I will admit they played better than I anticipated.
Right, definitely.
And so I'm most happy about the fact that we have a quarterback. That was one of them. I had 2 real big questions. Do we have a quarterback, and can we get to the quarterback?
Right.
I had one of those questions answered.
Yeah, I agree.
The second one, I think, is still pending, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys think differently.
No.
About getting to the quarterback.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah, definitely agree.
And huge shout out to Coach Daryl Brown. He called the 10-point game. I know he can't hear us right now because he's over in Tampa Stadium watching the Bucks hopefully beating the Cowboys over there. Myself and Jerry are definitely Bucks fans along with Coach Brown, but he called that 10-point game. So definitely a lot of football still left to be played for our Wildcats, and we'll be there to see it. We'll definitely be there to see it, and we'll bring it to you each Thursday night, next week, Wednesday night, on the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show. Call in, talk to us. Hopefully we have the communications worked out. 386-868-0635, 386-868-0635.
While we're still trying to wait on callers, ask you guys this. You guys see anything at practice this week that say, we can add this to what we saw last Saturday and be excited about this? Anything pop, any tone set, anything you guys see out at practice that you say, let's kind of circle this and come back around to it and see how this plays out on the field?
Not really. Not that I could say that I saw anything different. One play last week that we saw them practicing quite a bit was the end around that
We scored
Marcus
off that.
Riley
Right.
scored off.
Right.
Right. And it came earlier than we thought.
We scored off that
Yeah,
play.
so
And actually, he walked in on that play.
he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
He did walk
walked
in
in
on
on
that play, and yeah,
He,
there's
he walked in when the defender still had an angle on him.
He sure
Right.
did.
Yes.
I thought he slowed down
Exactly.
too quick, but
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
man is
Exactly.
fast. Yeah, he is fast.
Yeah. He was definitely.
But see, this is what I see though. See what we got to understand. The offensive coordinator got here late.
That's
Right, exactly.
So it's my opinion that he really haven't put all this stuff in yet.
Right, exactly.
And secondly, he probably got more in the toolbox than he thought that he realized.
Right.
So there's a lot more to come. And I mean, what do you got here on the 19th of August?
No, it was like right at the
No, it was
31st
more the 31st,
of
yeah.
July.
Yeah.
But that still wasn't enough time.
No,
for him.
of course not.
Because if he had been here during the spring, I think we would have been a lot further ahead. Not that we was behind offensively,
Right.
but I think we would have been a lot further ahead if he had spent the spring with these kids.
But you can tell he's thrown some wrinkles in.
Oh, he's definitely
yeah,
throwing
he's
wrinkles
thrown some
in,
wrinkles in, and I think it'll all come together in a game or two.
I think so too. So that's what we got to look forward to.
Definitely a lot to look forward to. 386-868-0635. I think we have our kinks worked out. But if we don't, thank you for listening to the Hail Wildcats X's and O's show. And we will make sure that next week we hear from our callers if we don't get to you this week.
But in addition to that though, there's one kid on that team that we haven't seen, and once we see him, then you're going to say he's the second coming of Jimmy Robinson. He's absolutely phenomenal. We've seen him in practice. I don't think he traveled to El Paso, but when that kid play, you're going to know who he is. He's Mr. Excitement.
So are you talking about this kid from Arkansas?
Yes.
I tell you what, a buddy of mine, Jerome Large, he's been talking about this kid for a couple of months, and he says this kid is very, very special. You know, and I tend to agree, with him on that. And just listening to Ralph, your excitement, about this kid. I mean, I can't wait to see him play.
Wait, hold on now. I know we're in the gospel radio station, but y'all talking in tongues now. Give me more information. I mean, I want you to speak clearly to me. What's his name? What position does he play? Give me some more to go on.
The kid is a running back.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think his name is Cameron.
It is. It's Cameron.
It's Cameron.
I don't remember his
I
last
don't
name.
either.
But it is Cameron. I do remember.
But he initially signed with Arkansas Pine Bluff,
Okay.
and through the miracles of Mary, he ended up at Bethune.
Okay.
But he's special, very special.
Definitely. He is.
And there's a couple other kids that you probably going to see later on in the season. I call them the Smurf. One of them is from one of these kids is from
He really means
Baltimore,
that.
and the other kid is from Jones High.
Got Jones, 85. Yeah.
That's him?
Yeah.
That's
80
him.
Kid from
Okay.
Jones. I think he did. Now, they wound up putting him back at punt return
Okay.
late in the context. I guess after they got some things they couldn't work out,
Right.
he called a fair catch. So he caught the ball.
That's heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hear he's pretty quick,
He is.
pretty elusive.
And the kid from Baltimore, who was a running back at Baltimore, they made him a slot receiver, and he is fast.
Okay.
So see what I'm saying, Coach Sims has a lot to cover, and he just ain't brought it all out yet.
Gotcha.
I mean, if I was a Wildcat fan, which I am, I would be excited about what's coming.
Right.
And
Right.
because you can't, it's just like when you invite your friends over for the first time. You keep the good stuff back and see how they're going to drink. And I think that's what Coach Sims is doing.
Nobody else knows about that.
Oh, God.
Is that what you do, Ralph? You hold the good
You
stuff.
hold the good stuff.
That's funny.
We're only gonna let the SWAC see the good stuff.
Here you have it. 386-868-0635. That's 386-868-0635. We have time for one more caller. Hopefully we can get that caller in before we start to wrap our show up. UCF, Saturday night, 6:30 in the Bounce House. Our Wildcats will go in there and do battle against the Knights. You guys going to the game?
Absolutely.
I will be there.
Absolutely.
CC, you going to the game, man?
I am. I will be there.
Yeah. I remember the last time we went to UCF, and it's the first time I ever saw that penalty. They penalized us for the great uniforms, right? Yeah. And George O'Leary accepted the penalties too. You think he would have some sportsmanship?
But not only did he do that, but when we came out of the second half, we got penalized for the same thing.
That's
Again,
right.
yeah.
Which was crazy.
You remember we used to play UCF a long time
Oh,
ago,
yeah,
man.
definitely.
Central Florida Classic.
Right, exactly.
Definitely. Guys, you have closing words for the listening audience?
Well, the one thing I would say is you can't stay at home and complain about what's going on at Bethune-Cookman College if you don't support Bethune-Cookman College.
That's right.
And what I'm suggesting, you come out and support Coach Sims and his team, and also support the university. I think you're going to miss out on some good football this year if you don't come out. Season tickets are still on sale. Come out and see the Wildcats.
Yeah, I'm with you 150%. We have a good team, guys, and we need to come out and support them. Come out to the UCF game, and also come out to the game next week. We'll be at home, and I think if we come out and we do the same thing that UCF do in the Bounce House, we'll come out victorious.
Most definitely so.
Absolutely. And listen, Coach Sims, his coaching staff, those guys are doing a really, really good job. I'm really happy about where the program is right now. You heard Ralph say earlier that the guys are playing for them, that this team is reflecting the personality of the head coach. And so I'm excited about what this season has in store, and there is no reason why Bethune-Cookman cannot continue their winning ways as one of the most successful HBCU programs over the last 10 years. I look for them to go into SWAC play starting on Thursday, continuing those winning ways.
Let me ask this one question for the three of you guys. Coming out of the MEAC, can you name the winningest team over the last 10 years in the MEAC?
Most definitely.
And where did they hail out of?
Daytona Beach.
Yeah, most definitely. My Wildcats, most definitely.
Daytona Beach.
That's right.
Most definitely so. If you don't want to deal with the traffic, Hail Wildcats, Let's Go Wildcats fan bus will be making the trip. We'll be making an appearance over at the Bounce House. We're leaving at 3 p.m. on Saturday from here in Daytona. If you want to catch that bus, don't deal with the traffic. Don't deal with anything. Just get on the bus and ride. It includes your game ticket. That's www.letsgowildcats.com/fan bus to UCF. Or go to HAILWILDCATS.com and click on Let's Go Wildcats fan trips. I'll be there. Ralph will be there, and many of our other Wildcats will be there. As I said, let's support our Wildcats. Let's support Coach Sims and the football team. They need our support. They definitely need our support. There was about 30 fans out in El Paso. It's a long way out to El Paso. And if 30 fans can go to El Paso, I know 3,000 of our fans can make it to Orlando.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
3,000 can make it to Orlando.
Most definitely.
Any more closing words from you, Ralph?
No, that's it for me.
Mr. Bell?
No, sir.
Just stay healthy with these games. Just stay healthy.
That's it. Staying healthy is the name of the
That's
game.
the key.
Staying healthy is definitely the name of the game. For myself, co-host Daryl Williams, Ralph Smith, Mr. Jerry Bell, founder of HailWildCats.com. Thank you guys for being in the studio. Mr. CC, Cruz, glad to finally have you in the studio, man. I think we'll hold on to you for a few weeks. We're going to tear up that other contract that you got.
Okay,
So.
well, I appreciate that because ESPN is definitely calling me. I was going to talk to Jerry about this, man, but I'll save it, Jerry. But they're calling me now.
Let me get on the phone with Chris Berman.
And if anybody out there knows, Shannon Patrick directly, I want to let you know we've already met his biggest fan in Daytona Beach. You've been hearing from him all night, Mr. CC, Shannon the Cannon. I think he already got a T-shirt with the arms out, saying Shannon the Cannon. And so.
For the Hill Wildcats X's and O's show, we thank you for tuning in this week. Come and see us next Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. and then see us next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Daytona Stadium for Darrell Williams, Jerry Bell, Ralph Smith, and Mr. Cruz. We'll see you next week.
We really need to fill that stadium next Thursday.
We really do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
there's no excuses.
No.
Yep.
You think they'll do anything special to try to? You know how many season tickets they sold?
I don't. I mean,
I don't.
I bought
haven't heard. I bought two. I bought two. I almost bought.
See, that's the thing with the transition though. With Lynn and those guys gone, there's nobody to talk to.
There's nobody
Right.
to talk to,
Right.
and the ones there ain't talking.
Right.
They're not
Everybody's
talking.
scared.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're afraid of. But let me say this though. So they got rid of that whole department who raises money.
Right.
I actually got a letter from the guy that's over that now. They did not take my money in August because I guess they fired that lady.
Yeah.
So he wrote me a letter and asked me, would it be okay if they go back and get that money? Which I didn't even know they hadn't gotten it actually.
Right.
I was too busy spending money.
Yeah.
But the lady, the reason I like that lady, she sent me a letter every month thanking me for that donation.
Right. Right.
And I was caught a surprise. I think I told Darryl, I said, that lady didn't send me that letter. I missed it.
Yeah.
Because I got to the point where I expected the letter.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what's going on at Bethune.
No, it's hard to figure out.
Yeah. It's especially with the new AD, who admittedly on every radio station he goes on says he don't know what the hell he's doing.
Right.
Are you serious?
He don't hide it. He does not hide it. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he got people in place, and he says he has managed people all his life, so he just